All right, welcome everybody. Good to see you again. So happy you're here, and I'm happy Rik is here. Rik Oostenbroek, if I'm saying your name correctly. Can you just correctly tell me how you say it so much cooler?
Dude, you killed it. It's Rik Oostenbroek, which is translates into Eastern pants in English. So
Eastern pants.
Eastern pants or pants from the East. Like I don't know, but that's always it's a challenging name actually. I wonder how people find me on Google. I think they just type RIK and double O and
yeah. I don't know. All I know is you create awesome work, and I'm so happy that you are here. We get you for 2 hours today, and then for 2 hours tomorrow. We're gonna make you work. Show us all your secrets in Photoshop, and then I think, are you going to be using a little bit of Illustrator too?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Okay.
Well, but like heads up, like I'm not like a professional in that kind of sense that I know all ins and outs about the software. I just use everything my own way. So
you're
maybe
good.
maybe you got some pro tips for me at the end. So
I'm happy to help, and we just want to learn from you, and this is what's fun for me because we get to see how other creatives work and everything, and kind of how you come up with stuff and everything. So everybody, welcome Rik. People are saying hello. Robert, Tom says hello. What's up, Kimmy? Welcome. Good having you here. Cool. So chat, keep that going, and I want to welcome everybody who's joining us.
That's fine.
Live.
Do you want me to start off with a little bit about Rik, or are you waiting for people to join?
No, I was giving shout outs to people, and I'll continue to do that. But our big shout out is to you, and I'm really excited about this. So
thanks, man.
I want you to take it away, and I want you to brag about yourself, man.
Oh man, but I'm not the braggy kind of guy. I don't like to take myself too serious. I just do whatever I love doing, and somehow I made it work, and that's good. But yeah, I just have fun like in the digital atmosphere, messing around with digital software, creating illustration. I do a lot of art direction, 3D art, but like also like the OG illustration with just like Photoshop and Illustrator. And I do some motion graphics on the side as well, which is nice. So you get a nice variety of like client projects coming in. One asks for like t-shirts, the other one asks for like ambient animation. Then there's like it's all like fun collaborative things, and it's really nice to be able to make a living out of that, you know. So do what you love and make it happen.
Totally. And so do you work for a company, or are you freelance?
No. I never had a boss in my life. Only myself. I went freelance from the age of 18, which was like 13 years ago already, which is crazy actually. And like it was a slow start, of course, but I simply didn't know what to do. I signed myself into like an economy course, like university. And I was there for like only the introduction day, and I was like, oh fuck, this is not. Oh, sorry, I can't swear on that. I was like, shit, I can't go.
You just substituted one cuss word for another cuss word.
Yeah, sorry for that.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Dutch people curse a lot, it seems. No, but I was like, after one day, I was like, oh, this is not me, and I was just like messing around with Photoshop in my spare time in my parents' bed, or the bedroom in my parents' place, and I was just like vibing with it and create stuff like this back in the days with a lot of like photography combined with like abstract elements, weird textures, and just wild, crazy stuff.
I love it.
So I mean, yeah, I was having fun, and at some point, like it took off, and there was like a potential, like people were interested in me being like on the cover of Computer Arts magazine and stuff like that. So I kind of was like, oh wow, I can actually make money with this weird stuff, which is cool. Because initially, like it started as a fun thing, like creating my own custom CD covers for my illegal burnt CDs, you know. That was how it all started. So yeah, from that moment on, I started to like create stuff for clients in very various ways, illustration, also some 3D work with heavy Photoshop stuff on it.
What 3D software do you use, by the way?
Oh, should I tell this?
Yeah, you can. Yeah,
okay.
you can.
No, Cinema 4D. I use Cinema 4D
cool.
for over, I think, more than 5 years right now. It was like only Photoshop and Illustrator back in the days, and then the weird move was going from Illustrator into 3D, because in 3D you can extrude vectors, and that way you can get like nice effects easily. So right now, like it's as you can see, it's always colorful, abstract, random. I would say random and abstract is kind of close, but most of the time it's just like making people happy or give a positive vibe.
I love I mean, you have a strong use of color as well in all these pieces.
That's what people say. No, it's just like based on my own taste. So what do I like? I also did Adobe Max last year, by the way, like the overall branding project for Adobe. So I have a long-term relationship with them as well.
You did the overall branding for?
Yeah, for Max, like all the illustrations and
like that stuff that we're seeing on those banners.
Yeah, that weird stuff.
It's awesome. I would have led with that. I would right after introducing somebody and telling them my name, I would say, hey, I did all the Max graphics, because that's pretty impressive.
Dude, I was there and I didn't tell anyone actually, which is weird because like
you jerk.
Yeah, sorry about that. No, so yeah,
I've wondered. I just like think this stuff is so great. It's so
thanks,
cool,
man. No, much appreciated. But it was fun to like, it's fun to see you work in a bigger scale and be there, like, because like most of my clients are from the US and I'm not living in the US apparently. So most of my work, I don't see where it ends up. And for this one, I was like, oh, wow. It's actually quite a big production. Dude, it was kind of like a Rik overkill, because at the same time, like Adobe Sensei is also still like using my stuff since day one. So it's quite weird to see yourself like in every corner over there. So yeah.
No, man, I'm into it. I want to know how you do this stuff, and hopefully you're gonna like create something. Continue telling your story. I have more to show.
I have a nice partnership and being an ambassador for Z by HP for over 3 years right now, where we do fun stuff. Like this was Adobe Max last year, so I collaborate with like fellow creatives. It's a nice team of people. So that's like one of those collaborations that people value your creative work or inspiration and let you do your own stuff instead of like pushing it in certain directions, which is cool. Like it's not too common that people pay you and tell like, yo, do whatever you want, do crazy stuff you never done before. So that's cool. So that way, like, yeah, you got to work with them, create nice visuals. You end up like liking yourself as well, which is good, which is not always the case with client work. You probably have that experience too.
Yeah, it's nice when you like your work, for sure.
Work. That's it. Like usually it's like most of my client work doesn't end up in portfolios, so they let me experiment. They let me play with my weird abstract mind, create colorful stuff. And we got something exciting coming soon as well. I just wanted to share that, but more on that soon. Where we collaborate with all ambassadors to create like one piece of art, which is an interesting process to do that remotely, of course. One of the challenges of the COVID situation. So
that'll be fascinating. Looks like somebody from HP on the Z team is in chat in case people have questions and stuff like that. So
awesome. Oh, nice. Shout out. Okay, yeah, and I got the powerful hardware, of course, as well, where I'm already working on for 3 years as well. I was a Mac user back in the days. Sorry, Apple, but no, this was good, like to make the switch. I was already thinking about it because like with 3D and motion graphics, it's tricky. You need the best GPUs, you need like unlimited RAM, and HP like make me do the switch, and yeah, that way I can like work faster. So that's good. I'm super happy with this collaboration I got going on, and I got this fancy Mac. Well, what did I say there?
You almost said, yeah, your ZBook. Yep.
I know, like, no, but this is like the ZBook Create, and I got to do like the wallpaper for it as well. Like that's super cool. No, so yeah, I'm super happy with the partnership we got, and I got that printer. I don't know, do you see the printer over there in the background?
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
It's huge. It's huge. So I can print my own stuff like on a large scale. So that's a very nice collaboration I have going on. So
oh, nice.
yeah, and then regarding today, of course, you want to know what we're gonna do, probably.
I do. I wanna get to.
Oh wait, yeah.
Get to creating like this.
So
I want to make that.
Oh, we're not going to do that today.
I don't know. I don't. You could do whatever you want, but it all looks cool, and I want to say yes to everything. So.
I like to mess around in Photoshop, especially with like colorful organic shapes combined like to either a topic or a full abstract, and I got to manage to work on that in my free time over years and years, actually, because this is not really the work that brings in the money, but it's the work I really enjoy most doing. It's very like detailed, and you can do whatever you want, create crazy stuff with just pen tool shapes, basically. So that's what I want to do today, and focus on how we can get a nice layered effect in a flat object. Yeah. Like typography. So typography is always like a thing. I mean, like with typography, you can write everything you want, which makes it flexible, and you can express yourself. Maybe you want to give your lady a present and create like a typography piece for her, like I did back in the days. Or you're sad or happy about a situation, and you can just type that down and create, like, boost that a little bit with just like colorful abstract stuff. Cool. So yeah, I've been exploring a lot with that, like physical 3D, but also in 2D. And I think this would be a nice topic to cover, like how to create that depth, how to manage the colors, how to create like a nice sort of I wouldn't say typeface, how to tweak a typeface a bit. As I mentioned, I'm not a pro in Illustrator. I just use it my own way. And so that's kind of what we're covering. And what I'm going to do is jump in Adobe Illustrator, change the font a bit, jump to Photoshop, select a cool font. I mean, that's like, as a reference, it's always good to have like lots to play with. So you can either go thin or very thick, like whatever you want. And we need a healthy dose of inspiration for that. So that's what I'm wanting to do. And it's mainly by using the pencil and stuff like that. And then we're going to color by just some simple tricks. And then we're going to create depth in our typography. And that's it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's get rid of this and jump. I already gave away my secret. That's bad. So what I had in mind, I wanted to do something related to my work regarding, what makes me Rik? What makes my work Rik? So I thought, like, okay, we can go, like, I landed on this one. Wait a second. Okay. Yeah, I landed on this one, for instance. I want to change type. I want to change typeface, but I can't because the zoom thing is up there.
Oh, you can move it, can't you? Or what you could do is you could open up the properties panel.
I moved it.
Okay.
So yeah, what I like in a font, like, I tested out a lot. Let's keep this one for now. It's from the Adobe fonts, by the way, font kit. Is it font kit? So I always browse, like, okay, what do I want to do? Which word is important for me? Like, do we go thin or do we go thick? I don't know, how do you choose your fonts? Is it just like, do you have a couple of favorite ones, or?
Yeah, you know, when I start out, I've been using like Acumen. Acumen has a variable concept font. So I could scroll through the thick to thin. Because they have like 50 different versions of all the different types.
Oh, wow.
But I like Lust. I like Lust Script Pro. I don't know if you have Lust, but anyways.
No, I'm not really a font kind of guy. And what I always do, like once I got a font like sorted out over here, wait a second, let me hide the artboard. Like, I don't know if that's like, I like it clean.
There we go.
So when you got like this one, you want to create the outlines just to change it a bit. For instance, I'll keep this as a reference how it was. For instance, the C, it feels kind of weird to me. So what I want to do with that one, like I want to align it more with the O, which feels more like unified, like an actual circle. And I don't like how this is cut up. Oh, that's like, I'm not using Illustrator too often just for this kind of stuff. So I want the O to be exactly like round, kind of centered, and use my Pathfinder to eliminate that one. And then I'll get rid of the original one. Oh, look at that. And right now it's perfectly round. I don't know if this is a usual way of doing this.
Yeah, well, I assumed they were perfectly round to begin with, but I like.
No, but
you definitely notice.
Like, you want to check, you want to see it again, like how it wasn't round. Like it's a bit oval.
Yeah, you definitely can tell after you threw out that circle.
Yes. Oh wait, no, I threw away the wrong one. Oh.
Want to welcome Jamonique and Radwayne and everyone. Also, if we also have people joining us on YouTube, so head over to behance.net/Adobe Live and join the conversation there, because that's kind of the chat we're reading.
Cool.
But
so we're live on YouTube as well. It's the first time in my life, actually. That's cool. Yeah. So regarding the C, like the contrast in between those two for me is a bit too big. So I use my round O, this one, as a reference to create the C as well. I know, like, I'm not a typographer, so please shoot me if you don't like it. So how are we gonna do this?
How are we gonna do it?
No, maybe a bit thinner.
Can I? Yeah, that could work. I like that.
Boom. What did you want to say?
Oh, no, I was going to say just like a quick Illustrator tip. You were using Pathfinder and you were subtracting the front.
Yeah.
If you hold down the Option key, or for you, the Alt key.
Yeah.
When you click on any Pathfinder option, it will actually keep the vectors. It's not a destructive process. So you can always go back in and change it like it's a
That's interesting.
Compound shape. I just found that out like this year. So.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, click.
But I should keep. Oh.
Yeah. See, there we go. Isn't that nice?
Yeah, but I can't like use it this way.
Yeah, don't use it that way. I guess just for like, for sure, dude, like for everybody else.
That's what I
mentioned.
If
you need to.
Oh wow! Now it won't let me again. Like what's going on?
You got to select both.
Oh. Man.
And you should use your direct selection tool.
Yes. Okay.
And you have another. You have another
going on over here. Yeah, dude. Oh, don't make fun of me. Well, what's?
You're fine.
What's going on?
You're exactly like me.
Okay, but wait. Okay. Well, let's keep.
I hope you could undo. By the way, many times if I messed you up.
You're challenging me here. Oh wait, yeah, okay.
There we go.
Now we're doing it.
I think it's funny. You're like, what's going on? What's going on? It's like the dialogue box was telling you what was going on, but you hit OK. Get out of my way. Get out of my way. I'm trying to figure this out.
Sorry about that.
Oh, you're fine.
It's just
you do
like
what I do.
The routine kind of stuff. Like
any dialogue box that pops up, I'm like, I get it. Okay, whatever. Yeah. I know what I'm doing. Silly computer. That's funny.
It's like, okay, so right now I kind of like the L. I don't know about you, but it's kind of like straight and graphical. But the R is still a little bit like, weird. And especially because it's the first letter in my name, I want it to be nice. So how are we gonna do this? Like I didn't practice this part, by the way. So I'll do it totally freestyle. Like this doesn't look too round to me. Okay, I'm just kind of like copying whatever's going on.
Jan Eriks, I'll just ask or answer these questions too, but can we edit fonts the same way in Photoshop? Like Rik, you're doing it exactly the right way. Just do this in Illustrator.
Thanks. Yeah, I think it's more flexible, and also
totally
with the corner. I know they edited in Photoshop as well. I forgot to mention that I'm like a pre-release tester for Photoshop too. So they recently added this feature to like squared like objects, which I like, but I simply like to tweak it this way. Plus, you can go like really deep into it. Like I like that, and that's just like, I don't know. This is the only reason that I learned Illustrator, actually, like to mess with fonts and stuff like that. So I don't know. I find it interesting, like how other people do it. Because you always have like the Illustrator people and the Photoshop people. Well, it's not.
Yeah, and I think you should just be both of those people.
Yeah, but that's not easy. Like it's. I mean, it's when you are a football or soccer player, like you always have one stronger foot, right? It's rare to have like you're good with left and right.
Yeah.
Well, I think so. I don't know if you're into soccer, but I am.
Yeah, no, I like you are right. Like the best tool for the job is going to be the tool you know, which might be Illustrator or Photoshop. But
exactly.
What's the word I'm looking for? Objectively, there is an answer to that question, the best tool for the job. You know, so it's like if you're doing more vector stuff, it's going to be Illustrator.
Yeah, and vector is like versatile for certain jobs, like t-shirts or whatever, making creative patterns or logos or whatnot. And that's the only reason I really like tried it. Let's make this white so we can see it better.
I do agree with you though. Like I'm very weary of somebody that says they know like everything. Oh, I know all of Creative Cloud. I'm like, yeah, do you really? Like, do you? I'm very skeptical.
Yeah, but I'm
sure they could, but they're very few and far between.
It's nice to know like different softwares, so you can express yourself in different ways. That's always like my motivation. Like the ultimate goal is to reach creative freedom, where you're able to create everything you want to create.
Yes, actually, I want to ask you this, Rik, because Johan's asking what's easier to use if you're starting out, Photoshop or Illustrator. What was easier for you?
For me personally, it was Photoshop, but that's simply because that was the first one I put my energy in.
Yeah,
I started out in a time that there weren't like too many tutorials around. There were no tutorials actually like 15 years ago or something like that. So friends needed to tell me like, okay, Rik, if you want to do this, you should do that. And that was like a year. And like I've been working with it for a year just for fun, and I still didn't use any layers. Like
that's like pro level right there. That would be a great challenge. Like, hey, editing challenge. Guess what? You can't use any layers. I'd be like, jerk, I can't.
Or should I leave the art like this? Though?
Well, I think you're doing really well. Like I really I think it does need to be filled in because everything else is filled in. I would move. The vertical line of the R underneath it needs to kind of line up. Those, you know what I'm saying?
What do you mean?
There we go. Yeah. That's what I think. I don't know. Man. Maybe I'm wrong. That actually looks kind of funny.
Yeah, but it remains looking funny. Like I don't know what's going on. Like maybe we need to.
Ooh, yeah, maybe offset. That's a little better.
I actually like the way it was over here, so why don't we just tweak that?
And by the way, like that's all part of the workflow. Just because you tried something, it didn't work. Well, you are the wiser for it.
What's happening?
Partially selected objects.
Oh, wow. Welcome to Illustrator. Oh, wow. Okay, Paul, you know what's going on here? I don't.
What are you trying to do?
I want to subtract this part. How do I do that?
You had
I have them all selected, right? All edges. So now I want to copy it. Oh, wait, there we go. Okay.
And sometimes sometimes I'll turn it a different color if the background's white, just so I can make sure it's subtracted and isn't showing just the white color.
Oh, I think this is good.
That's looking good. Yeah.
I made this part rounded, so it feels good. I rounded this one off a bit, and that's all because like I like to mess with abstract organic shapes. So I like to have a little bit of rounding in all of them, and then we can.
Looks so good. You did great, man. This is what's the original font? What is it? Do you remember the name of it?
Yeah, oh no, I do remember it because it should be in here. It's Azo Sans Uber Record.
Hey, I said no cussing. Oh, Azo, A-Z-O.
Azo,
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, so like I like it. I usually don't like the randomness in some sort of fonts, like the non-roundness and whatever.
I agree. Like Cody Barr said, it's just like those small edits made a huge difference. I think yours looks just so much like cleaner.
Yeah, it's weird. And I'm not a typographer, so probably like there are lots of people there thinking like, oh, what is this dude doing right now? Okay. What should we do? Like we can, like what kind of composition should we go for? We can also do it like this. I'm just like figuring out a way to make it work before we head into Photoshop.
Yeah.
I'm not like, I can't really align stuff well.
Maybe I like this. What if I don't know what to do, but like, do you move the OR to the right so it's under the L? Would that look?
I don't know, man. You tell me.
Oh, I don't know. Is that good or this? It's kind of weird. You have those O stack. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, it looks like.
Yeah, it's
weird. Yeah,
that was a dumb idea.
No. I appreciate it. I appreciate the effort. Let's see if we can. No. We're not going to do this. Or just do it the regular way. I like it like this. Do you agree?
I like it just, straight across how it is now.
Yeah, but like I'm not a kerning expert, so.
Oh, for the kerning, I think the kerning looks pretty good.
Really?
Like the thing is like nothing looks weird in it. So that's good. And I think that's like, that's success.
Thanks,
it's like
man.
When kerning is off, you're like, that looks a little funny. And you tightened up the O into the L, and that was probably the most tricky spot.
But look at this, like the height of all of them is a little bit different. So let's align those.
And that's okay. You could have that X, well, I don't even know if it's the X height, but the height of the letters can be large. I think as long as they're on the same.
I know, this looks really small. Yeah, this is similar, of course. Like it used to, well, let's see how it is in the original one. I want to figure this out.
Kylie says the kerning looks good.
Oh, really? Thank you. Much appreciated. I think we're good to go into Photoshop in a second if you are cool with this as well.
I'm cool with it.
All right. That's good.
Want to welcome everybody in, especially if it's your first time. Feel free to say hello if you're over on YouTube. Come over to Behance. And I'm with Rik Oostenbroek, which means Eastern Pants, I guess, in English.
Yes.
And everybody's like, pants? What are those? Since everybody's like working from home.
Oh, word. Yeah.
Like sweatpants. Sure. Oh, that's what those. Yeah. Remember that one time you used to wear pants to work? No, it's just it's like you've never had a boss to like go.
Yeah, word. Exactly that. I always have my private office, so I can go to work whenever I want.
You're always wearing like a running suit.
No, not at all. I used to do that in high school actually, but since like I never wear suits or blouses or stuff like that.
I sometimes do when I think just to change it up. You're like, I gotta put on like a sweater with a shirt underneath and all the things.
Where are you at right now?
I'm in Denver, Colorado, USA, like right in the middle of the US.
Isn't it cold out there?
It is, yeah.
Okay. So what I want to do now is like I want to create one path for it, and you're gonna see later on why. We're gonna get rid of a reference. We might tweak it on a little later. What I want to do is, and I'll tell you later on why, I want to have enough space behind it. Go back to my Pathfinder. Let's make it visible because otherwise you don't see what I do. And subtract it. Boom.
Oh, yeah.
And right now we have one piece. And what we're going to do is open up Photoshop. let's make the composition not too big, I guess. Oh, this is really big. Should we go a little bit higher than HD? It really depends. Like, okay, this is a weird way of doing stuff as well. Whoa. Let's blow it up twice. I always do it this. Oh, why doesn't it? Huh?
Rik, do we make you nervous?
Kind of.
At all?
Kind of. Like it's not.
You're doing great. It's not every day.
I don't do this on a regular basis. It's the first
you're creating
time
and performing at the same time.
Oh man, it's crazy. Okay, so what we do, we pass our smart object over here. And we see right now we have a black layer, which is not good actually. Like I never work with black. Secret number one about my work, I never work with black unless, well, sometimes in the background but I try to avoid it. Like I rather go like to whoa, wait a second. There we go. Okay, place it over here. I'll censor it in a bit. Waiting for libraries. I never get why it's doing that, but okay. We kind of center it out. And right now, the reason why I did this was because I use a clipping mask for everything. Like clipping mask is my go-to tool. I don't know, like, and that way, like we can, wait, yeah, that way. Okay, let's make it nice gray. Like a neutral color is good to make the colors pop in the end. So that way, like right now, what do we get? Like, do you want me to show and tell why I do it this way?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. I create a new layer over here. And what I always use, especially like not necessarily right now in the process, but when I'm drawing shapes over shapes, it's very useful to clip these. And once like, if you just use, for instance, wait a second, I'll show you in a new file. Sorry for that. Go. Let's go back to Illustrator and do it the other way around. Okay, we got our typeface over here. It's white. I'll switch to black in a second. Oh, what? Okay. If I want to create like forms over this one, it's the easiest way to do it is by a clipping mask. So let's see, like I created like this, blah 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 blah. Okay, kind of the same what I did over there. And what happens right now? Like how do I create a shape within this shape?
Mm-hmm. How did you? I know how you did.
But how do I add up another one? Like how do I clip onto this shape number one we got over here? And that's a thing I still need to figure out.
Okay.
So if there's, for me, like I'm not aware of it, but there's not like another way of like clipping.
Gotcha. So
the next shape.
Yeah. Like ultimately what you'd like is like nested clipping masks.
Yeah. Because I love it. I don't know what's going on like that. Yeah. Like, for instance, like right now I have to select this one. Mm-hmm. I have to mask this one out. Yeah. There you go. But it's like an extra, and especially like when we get into depth, like we want to create shadows, highlights and whatnot. Mm-hmm. It might get tricky because you just simply want depth on specific layers. And I'll show you later on. Yeah. But that's the reason why I do it like this, because right now, you still have control over like the background color, and we can always like draw shapes over it once we want shapes over it. But right now, I'm going the easy way, and that way, like I can do the same over here. Yeah. Blah 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 blah. There we go. Boom, and
create a deleted it. I don't know.
Create a clipping mask.
There we go.
Okay, and those colors aren't final, but that way you can have multiple layers of forms over each other and still like work within the typography, and you don't need to clip it over it. I don't know if this is like
No, this is great. This is exactly why we have you on, just to see and just to see different, ways of working. And this totally makes sense because your canvas are like the letters or your canvas.
Yeah, exactly.
You get to just paint inside of them unrestricted.
Word. And without limits, and especially like when we go a little bit further for coloring, like I can easily just focus on this shape, and without like affecting the rest, you know, like that.
Very
but yeah,
cool.
Okay.
So hopefully that makes sense. Abhishek asks, like, why are you making it complex? Trust me, it's going to get complex. Like, because it's cool. It's just.
Does this already feel complex?
I don't think so.
No, same here. It's quite basic. Like, oh, you get the hang of it. No, but it's cool, and plus it's super versatile. Like this style of mine, if I could. Like, I'm not claiming it, but I've been doing this for a long time, and I can create like with this pen tool. It's like I'm nothing without a pen tool. Like I can create whatever, like not realistic things with a pen tool, but shapes like this. Like I know how the angles go.
Yeah.
I know when I need to reset it.
Yeah.
Oh wait, those O's are a bit similar. So let's flip this one. Transform. Boom. There you go.
Cool.
A bit like that.
So the colors are random shapes. You're just drawing random like liquidy forms at this point.
Yeah, and I just flow with like the way the shape goes. So like I always anticipate. I'm like, okay, this angle is smooth, so let's make sure the other one is not like this, you know. So you kind of know like where the smooth spot is after doing it like for a longer time, like I am.
So Vlad also mentions like layer groups, which is also like a good potential solution if you want to work that way, because you could actually have a folder in your layers panel, and then you can apply a clipping mask to that layer, that folder, just as an FYI for everyone.
Good one, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I'm not used to that, so I'm not gonna do that right now.
Yeah, and no, it's like your way works exactly fine. Like the correct way of doing things is how you get things done. Whatever it takes to get things done.
Yeah. Plus, I barely like clients always are very upset with my like files because I never group or name my layers. Sorry about that.
What are you gonna name things? Nebulous blob 1. Nebulous
but that's
blob
it.
2.
That's it. Like organic shade. Like man, like it's crazy. Like how many different things people see in my creations. They're like, oh, this looks like a boob. Sorry for my word. Please change it. You know, like, and I'm like, oh, yeah, okay.
But
okay,
yeah,
so
right now. And Richard's right. There's many ways to create things. Because you could, even what you're doing here, just so FYI for the Illustrator users out there, yeah, you could do the same thing in Illustrator if you want to.
Word, but there's a thing
up to a point, I'm sure.
Yeah, and it's for me, it's mainly like the brush tools that are more finessed in Photoshop. Like very, very like elegant and flexible and whatnot.
And since you're selecting colors right now, somebody asks, Kevin does, about how do you recommend selecting colors? Like, how do you go about selecting colors?
You mean like how to pick a certain color?
Yeah. How did you end up with that sort of teal, like gray, the dark grayish purpley?
I don't know. It's a gut feeling. Like no, but for instance, everybody has a different taste, of course. For me, like the colors in my work come together like super organically. I simply like those colors, and not necessarily to wear them as clothes or to hang up in my house, but to work with them. For instance, I never did an actual black and white thing. Like I can do it right now, but if it would be like this, I'll get restless. But some people might actually like to work in black and white. So for me, it kind of reflects the taste you have. Like you find, like you observe the world, especially if you're a visual artist or an illustrator or whatever, like you're always looking for things you like. And for me, that's the thing with colors. I really like some colors and I really don't like don't like other colors. And for instance, that's like, with black makes it super aggressive, actually. Okay, the word color doesn't like, okay, that's, Yeah. So for me, it's just like a gut feeling I trust upon, and I try to find the right balance. And it could work in multiple ways. Like sometimes I end up. Wait a second. Like for instance, we can change the background color, like the white one over here, to create a different kind of vibe. Like right now, it looks very nude, for instance, and right now it gets more like, I don't know how to call it, but like there's more contrast in it. So that way, like I always try to combine my colors, and once I start adding shapes, like I will do right now. So let's add another layer of shapes under the orange ones.
And right now, does the color really matter? Because you'll end up changing it later. Or?
I think this is more for composition purposes to figure out like, okay, but use different like that's the reason why I labeled like all those as orange, to see like the first layer and to kind of like be aware that there's not loads of details in one letter and there's not enough in that. So like, this is the way to kind of balance out. And then we can look to like add coloring later on. And I usually. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I usually change my colors up to probably like 20 times to figure out which is the best combination. Because sometimes you're like, I feel it, but let's try. Like you always want to push for the sweet spot and make sure you've made the best decisions. So it's good like to execute the same thing in different ways. For especially for clients, I do that a lot, but also for personal work where you like, maybe I should. You always regret it once you didn't try it, you know.
Yeah, I bet you wish Photoshop had global colors. So if you changed that orange, you just change the orange in one place and it'll change it everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. That would be a cool addition, actually. But I think like Photoshop is not made for stuff like this. Like I should have done this in Illustrator, but I'm simply used to do this in Photoshop. So I think it's cool that this is possible in both of the software.
You know what we're gonna have? Yeah, I guess we'll talk about that later. We have Illustrator for the iPad now, but I do want you to answer Jessica's question. Are you using a pen or on a tablet? Or are you using mouse? What are you using?
I use both. I use like the OG Wacom. I never know how to pronounce it.
I think it's Wacom. It's supposed to be Wacom. Yeah.
Wacom. I use that one. This is quite like I had a Cintiq before, like with the screen in it, but I never looked at the screen and it felt like a little bit buggy because the screen was always like giving feedback. And right now this is just the best way, and I got like a nice mouse next to it. I think especially for brushing, and it's also like it seems to be healthier to like a more natural way of drawing once you got like a pen like this instead of just clicking the mouse like all the time, like all day, especially if you're behind the computer for like 14 hours a day, which is not healthy, of course, but
I agree with Mia. Says it looks relaxing, kind of it's fun watching you just kind of create these soothing shapes, you know. Just be like, yes,
and the colors
soothing shapes
are totally not definite yet, but it's a matter of like I always love this part most. It's always in general, like I hate to finesse my own work. Hate is a big word, but I always like to just mess around and create forms and shapes and whatnot, instead of like being total serious. Like right now we got our second like layer.
Oh, I had a brilliant idea for you, by the way.
Oh, tell me.
So this is something for you to try someday to just kind of challenge yourself. See if you can make the blobs inside of the letters spell another word.
Oof. There we go.
That's for another day, but it would be really cool.
No, we got another stream tomorrow. Like,
or an ambigram or something. If you flip it, then it spells something else inside of the swooshiness.
Oh wow!
Right? Oh, I'm so excited! I want to do that.
Oh man, yeah. And I'm like, most of my work is totally not conceptual, so it's like I just create it for fun. So you're really challenging me there.
No, you're.
So right now we got like nice layers, and as you can see, like I switched the colors a bit. It's always on gut feeling. Like for instance, like this doesn't work for me. I don't know if it works for you. Same here. No.
Do you sometimes you just have to get up and like walk away? Do you do that? You're like, do you think it's productive to get up, walk away, come back, and then the answer for colors there right in front of you?
Yeah, for sure. No,
or at least you see what's distracting.
Yeah, and that's always good to have some off-screen time. I don't have like I do have a machine at home, but I try not to work at home. Like just focus on working in my office space and avoid working at home to get a more healthy balance. Because before I was working in my living room, I was eating in my living room, I was not sleeping, but I was always working, and I was always like the laptop or whatever device was there. There was always like Rik, come here, I want you to work. It's like,
it's got right now crumbs all over the keyboard from eating.
Oh hell, hell yeah!
Hell yeah. The screen's all dirty. It's like, just put it away, man.
Yeah. Okay. What should we do now? Should we add like a layer underneath the greenish one or bluish one, or should we go on top of the orange one?
I would go on top of the orange personally.
Okay. Same here. That was my thought. Great. Let's clean up this file.
So yeah, just to answer your question, Kimmy, you're Rik's working in vectors with these paths right in Photoshop, FYI.
Is that weird?
Photoshop can do vector work. No, I think it's fine. It's okay with me.
Then it's all good. Ooh, I like this bolder orange actually more, so I might like change the rest. Like this is like part of the process where you're like, oh shit, maybe we should. Oh, sorry, I did it again. Oh, wow, I need to change the colors. So then, like, it's this is always a challenging part. Like, okay, right now you got two base colors. Like, how are we going brighter? Because you got more. Of course, we can change the background at some point, but. Okay, it's a little bit.
Do you ever use like a color wheel or anything?
Nope, never. I don't know what it is. What is a color wheel?
It's just the circle. It's like a circle that has all the colors on the edge, and it's
where you see like the opposites and stuff like that, right?
In your color panel, in the upper right, you should be able to change that through the flyout menu to like a color wheel. So go to the flyout menu, go to the other side.
This
three lines, boom, color wheel.
Oh wait, yeah, your face is over it right now. Oh wow.
So you can change the hue without changing the
interesting
brightness. And
I didn't know this.
So that one, that panel is actually newer. The color wheel portion is newer.
Oh, that's good. That's cool. I'm learning a lot.
I think it's very funny because like I feel like most working professionals like yourself, people that are actually like you're busy making money and paying the bills and all this and that. The best in the business, like you're too busy getting paid to notice every little update that comes around. You know what I'm saying?
Dude. Yeah. No, but for instance, like,
working.
All the tools I'm using are like tools that has been in there like since the first version of Photoshop I used.
Yeah.
I'm not feeling that one. So it's like, yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No. But it's like, oh yeah, there's this awesome new feature. And I'm like, okay, does it make my work easier? Well, not necessarily. Okay, let's skip it.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
It's like portfolios. Like the person with the updated portfolio is the person who needs work. Your portfolio is the last thing to get any work. Don't you think?
Do you know when the last update of my portfolio was?
Oh no, it's forever ago.
2012.
2012. Wow. Well, I got to hand it to you. You could check out Rik's. Your Behance has a lot of stuff in it, though.
Yeah.
You've been doing good with the Behance.
I was like, pretty active, but right now, like, I'm not updating as frequently anymore because I'm just like, I had a couple of issues with like people, I wouldn't say necessarily copying my work, but there were some similarities here and there. Like once you put something cool out, like the other one jumps on the train and wouldn't say abuse it, but it's like going away with that. And because I'm working a lot, like I just stack up like new stuff I'm working on, and won't release it until like I'm fully satisfied and I can literally own it, you know?
Yeah. Oh, that is cool.
The L is pretty dominant, but I kind of like it, like the way.
Did you do work for Sid Lee?
Who's asking that?
Oh, I am.
Oh yeah, I did. That was the only boss I ever had. I didn't lie to you, but that was just like on a long freelance contract.
Yeah, exactly. That was like a long time ago, but that's like a great org. I think I've been there.
In Montreal?
I don't remember. Yeah, if they only have the Montreal office, then I've been to Sid Lee in Montreal.
No, but they are like everywhere. It's quite a big agency. Like they used to do a lot for Adidas back in the days, like almost everything. I know they're still working with the North Face and stuff like that, like all the branding and advertising. But I was like a junior art director / digital artist for Cirque du Soleil, like the circus kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, that is cool. Yeah, keep the questions coming. Yorotima asks about your work and your portfolio. So maybe tomorrow, what might be a good idea is like, I don't know if you could do this, but and you don't have to, but if you just opened up like a PSD or something of a piece, you know, in your portfolio, would just be fun to like look at.
Oh, sure.
You know, and I want to see it. I want to see how messy it is and all the unnamed layers. And like, this is like how real professionals work. Yeah, I get it. Man. Layers aren't named. People aren't paying me to name the layers. They're paying to get artwork.
That's so true.
You know?
And then like, oh man, and always it cost me like a couple of hours to sort out like a PSD for a client. And it's always like, oh yeah, we want this yesterday. And I'm like, okay. So I got it all sorted out, and then I still need to organize the PSD, and I'm like, oh no, there we go again. And especially like when you're in the flow, like you're not like, I'm not gonna label this layer as like, okay, green part R. And it's like, why would I do that? I might change it, obviously.
Hey, can I show you something in the layers panel that will help you?
Sure.
You may not like it. But in the layers panel, if you go to the little flyout menu through those three lines, go to panel options at the bottom.
Panel options.
Because right now you can't see each layer what the shape is. So change the thumbnail that's going to be really large, but don't do that. Go to layer bounds, thumbnail contents. So make it a touch larger. Layer bounds, that's the key one.
Okay.
Because it's only going to show you what's on that layer now. So click OK.
So if I click OK.
And
I made it bigger too.
And if you're not using that properties panel, I would close the properties panel just so we could see everything a little better. But you can make the thumbnail smaller if you want to.
That's good. Close tab group.
Yeah, there we go. But see how you can actually see the shapes now?
Oh, dude, that's awesome. So it's not like, usually they see like the entire canvas.
Yeah,
right?
it's
like
the entire document. And if you're working on something super small, you're never going to see it. But now you actually can.
Oh, that's great. Thank you so much. Like, I'm learning a lot here. This is actually really useful for me. I thought I was the one here, like showing off, like, look what I can do in Photoshop.
No. You are showing us exactly what we need, which is great.
Yeah. I want to jump into creating depth soon.
Yeah. Do your thing. Ferry's asking if you actually, Rik, are you classically trained or traditional? Did you go to school for this at all?
No. I never went to school for like any of this. I taught it myself I taught everything myself in a time that there were no like real tutorials, or YouTube wasn't even there yet. I think, I don't know how old YouTube is, but it wasn't around.
Yeah, maybe wasn't that big of a deal back then.
Yeah, I don't know, but it was like there wasn't like I don't know if you remember like DeviantArt back in the days. Yeah. You had like DeviantArt, and that was quite a big platform. And over there, Yeah, they're still around, and I was like seeing some weird like abstract stuff on there, and I was like, wow, I was blown away, and that's the reason why I started Photoshop. But it was all like randomly put together, and as I mentioned, I didn't know how to use layers back then. No, I don't like the flow here, by the way. So it was all like figuring out like how each tool works. I had a friend who had a copy for a bit longer, so he explained me, okay, how this pen tool worked. Like for instance, I don't know if this even still possible. Let's see if I use the pencil and make it a path. Mm-hmm. Do you actually want me to look up my first piece ever?
Yeah,
it's still on the internet. Is that okay? Like DeviantArt.
Yeah, sure.
DeviantArt. What was my nickname again? It's going to be weird. Am I a photographer? Yeah, this is me. Okay, there we go. Seal. Look, I made a nice photo of my teddy bear and put some nice typography on there.
Oh yeah,
that's 2004 actually.
That's very 2004.
Time.
Like,
this is how it all started. Where is this first one? I thought like scraps. It should be here. Yeah, this is it. Digistar. It's the first one ever. Like,
did a path.
Dude, you see the green outer glow over here. Like,
oh man, you've come a long way, baby. You've come a long way. I love it.
That's so fun, like to browse through like old work.
And it's very. Look at you. Cool hair, bro.
Thanks, man. Thanks, much appreciated.
No, this is fun because this is encouraging. It just like shows how far that you've come, you know?
Yeah, and you can browse that way like throughout, like I think like all my, because I started another profile like later on, which was my, I don't know, like all those weird names I came up with. Oh wait, I'm actually like boom. I had a daily deviation the other day, which is great. Like your features on the home page. Sorry for doing it. Like I didn't know this was like. So you can see how I kind of messed around with like pen tool stuff, or like I don't know if this makes sense. Like, what is this? Plus, I was also using Macromedia freehand back then. Yeah. I don't know if you remember that. That was like some old school software. But you see like those weird compositions. Look at this negative space over here. It's crazy.
Yeah, that is cool though.
Yeah,
like, I would totally have that as a desktop wallpaper.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I would have something like that as my desktop wallpaper. Not today, not right now.
Okay.
But like exactly, these are all cool like desktop wallpapers. Like I would easily have this printed up and slap it on the back of my my ZBook.
Yeah, so that kind of stuff, like it's what I did and how I grew into this, and just by learning new stuff myself, or like I'm not necessarily like forcing myself into new stuff, but you're just curious like how stuff gets created, and look for that sweet spot where you can create like literally everything you want to.
You could do sometime you could do a then and now. Yeah. Like.
But it's also like everything's possible as long as you got like the motivation, the inspiration, and also like. Yeah, the right sort of ambition. Like it's never started out like, oh, I want to be famous or I want to be on Adobe live stream. Not like that, but like starting out while you didn't even know there's money in it, and then realizing there is. It's really cool. So let's go on. Let's see what we can do with those colors right now, because I kind of feel them already. I feel like the purple might be a bit.
You should do how it started and how it's going, sort of side by side. Like your first piece, or if you recreated your very first piece today.
Oh man,
I think that's a fun idea.
I can do that. Like I'm down for that. You're full of good ideas. I'm happy to have you.
I'm also not doing any of the work here. I'm just sitting here. I'm good. You're the one working away. You're like, geez, Paul, so demanding.
Yeah.
It's like you're like one of my clients.
Oh, no, you're not. Don't worry. And most of my clients are super sweet nowadays, especially because I took like this abstract route. So people right now, I try to add like colors by using the gradient tool. But I do that also like in a clipping mask sort of way. I don't want like this gradient to be too static. I want to be able to move it around. And I always like change. I use this panel a lot, like the saturation thing, so you can sort of like see like which color works. Like for instance, I kind of like the purple vibe. I like the pink vibe. Ooh. Right now it gets better. Let's get sexy.
So all you did, and I'm sorry I missed that. How did you get that original burst of color on that layer?
Of color. Oh yeah.
Did you use a gradient?
Yeah, just a basic gradient where I used like my primary color versus like a transparency. I can redo it if you like.
Yeah, no.
New layer. Okay, I'll name my layer for you. Gradient. Layer. Okay. Boom. Create a clipping mask, of course. There's probably a shortcut for it, but I'm not like a shortcut kind of guy. Yeah, that way, like I simply drag it somewhere like in the center, so I know like it's not like cut off or cropped by its bounds, so we can easily like move it around to where we think there should be some nice colors. What I always like to do as well is to make it negative by Windows I, like Control I. Invert it. Yeah, invert it. Sorry. It's a good word. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not a native English speaker, so
you're good.
Thanks. Kind of like, okay. So for instance, let's stick with this green one. Create another clipping mask over the same layer, or we can even like.
Can I show you just a clipping mask tip that's really easy?
Yeah.
So you want to turn off the clipping mask on that right now.
This one?
Or not turn off, just don't make it a clipping mask anymore.
This one?
Yeah.
No, I still want to use it.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to show you how to do it faster.
Okay.
All you have to do is roll over the line in between those two and then hold down the Alt key.
What?
Wow. And that will clip it and then click. Yeah, so you just Alt, click, and you can bounce it in and out.
Dude.
Thank you so much. I'm glad you enjoyed that one. It's nice, right? There's probably, like you said, there's probably some shortcut that I don't even use.
This feels like a cheat.
I like the line, right?
It works really good.
Oh, good. Glad you like it. Oh, by the way, Fury mentions like just accidentally making good artwork, like happy accidents. That's kind of what you're working on. Is you're trying out things and seeing kind of what comes to light. So
for sure, I always start with a blank canvas, and I really like that. So here we got another spot which I like to be recolored. So I'll go back to my U panel again and mess around with it. Like, should we go for green? There's already green in there, so I'm not too sure. Maybe yellow. Like, it should be colorful.
I'm loving the gradients in general. Just like I love the gradients.
And what I recently like figured out that I love messing around with them like in different blending options. So you get like a more natural way of how the colors react on each other. Like it's like blending paint sometimes. Like let's see, look at that. Like this, for instance.
Yeah,
like,
wow.
What's happening over here? Like it's green, purple, and there are some orange bits. So
multiply. It's the multiply mode.
It's a multiply mode, and it's like this. These are typically like these are not like I don't know what's going to happen if I put it in multiply and I put it there. So it's wait a second. Okay, so it should have a bit more color though. But with colors, you also create some sort of depth, like an extra dimension in it. So, okay, let's move on. So we got a purple over here, or pink, or what it is. I like how the stuff over here is collaborating too.
Yeah, that's cool.
I'm trying to.
Coming to life. Let us know if you have questions. We have Rik. Just a quick time check. We started at 9:30. It's 10:30 now. We have you for another hour. This is great. Or less, like 50 minutes.
That's fine.
Do you ever like, because sometimes you'll mess with this and then do you like say, actually you should probably save the file.
Oh yeah, good one. Good one. Sorry about that.
No problem.
Messed up.
But maybe like save one color version and then have another color version.
Yeah. I usually like just simply like duplicate my image. Like if I'm not sure and I really want to test something out, like for instance, I made the green, the parts are used to be green, brown right now. So I got a version over here. Okay, let's stick with this brown over here, and I'll just go back to green over here, especially like whenever I want to undo stuff and compare them. I think it's easy. I also like to just flatten it out and just copy paste it over the other file, just make sure it's on top. Like, okay, what do I like more? Like that way. And usually like I go a bit further. So let's continue.
How do you actually, I'm sorry to interrupt, but Steve has a great question because you have that awesome printout behind you.
Yeah.
I'm curious that maybe once you get this wrapped up, like just what would happen if you go to print it? How do you get the gradients really crisp and that whole process? I think
are you talking about banding?
Yeah, how do you not have banding? I don't know if you can explain.
Yeah, simply add a layer of noise over it, like a very subtle layer of noise. Create like a 50% black layer over it, so it's like mid-gray. Create a subtle noise. Do you want me to do it? Like right now, I don't feel like the banding really kicks in once like the adjustment layers are like you're messing with curves and stuff like that. Okay, let's see. Wait a second. So I go to the black value of 50 in HSB. Then I add like a noise layer. It's like, I'll keep this layer on top so we can use it for later on. I don't want to like. Yeah, and put it on soft light, so it has like the exact same look, but that way you can solve a lot of banding. Plus like working in 16-bit works from time to time as well, but it's still like I'm wondering if there's anyone working on that at Adobe. I don't know if you know that, Paul, on the banding situation.
I mean, yeah, I don't know, and I just considering how many people how little printing we do these days.
Yeah, so true.
I don't know how many resources are devoted to that.
But it's even like in digital stuff because it gets compressed. Oh, this is nice and funky.
And I like even as you dipped into the yellow.
Yeah. But I'm not like there's one thing. I don't like to work too much with yellow. I don't know why that is.
Why is that?
I don't know. There's maybe I'm traumatized by a bee back in the days. I don't know.
Well, yellow is one of those interesting colors that it's so intense that typically you use it in very limited quantities.
Yeah,
but also rules are meant to be broken. Like if you use so its complementary color is purple. It would just need one. It would take 9 parts of purple to make up for the 1 part of yellow. Like it's that intense of a color, if you will. But rules are meant to be broken, by the way.
I can use this. It's kind of like straight in your face. It's yellow. Is it yellow? A little bit.
It looks very
green,
orange.
No, this one, the back layer.
Oh, yeah, that gets a little muddy. It's a little mustardy.
Yeah, I'm wondering. Like, I also rather like balance it out like with a more neutral color because otherwise it's a lot.
It's a lot in your face.
It's a lot. Like it spells color, so it should be colorful at least. See, like over here, there's too much. Like, Mm.
Yeah, good call. Vlad says shading yellow is annoying. So you're right. Anytime you like the way you're like if you did use yellow in here, yeah, when yellow is muddy, it's gross.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
so
like
don't
really
mix
mustard.
yellow with like a dark color. So.
No, and that's what I like in orange, for instance, because like the neighbors of orange are like yellow and red, and reds are great for shadows on orange, and yellows are great for highlights on orange. So that way, like we can manage to have like some yellows in it, but just as simple highlights. Do you really want me to put some yellow in?
No. I don't really care. Like it's totally you do whatever you want.
I'll go for it. No worries. Here, boom.
Ooh, I like that though. I love that little pop. It's like a little highlight.
A little bit of yellow here.
Yeah.
The L should have a little bit of yellow.
I like it.
I might remove it later on.
Okay,
I hope you don't get upset. Let's see the brightness of it. Like, does it work? Does it get too bright? Oh, there's a doorbell ringing somewhere.
Sorry.
Oh, that's you.
It is. I don't know what to do.
Oh, wow. So you're working from home too?
I am working from home, home office.
How long has it been?
10 years. Well, 10 years for me.
Oh, wow. For real?
Yeah. But I mean, I you know, up until last year, I traveled a lot. Like there were times where I was gone so much. So the big change for me is just actually being at home and, you know, sleeping in my own bed and stuff.
Yeah, I miss traveling as well. Traveling is the worst, like the thing I'm missing most.
Yeah, although I do have to admit how much work I get done because I'm not traveling. Because like when you're traveling, I feel like half my time is spent just trying to connect to the Wi-Fi. You know, like, oh, it's so stupid thing, this network issue or something dumb. Like, oh, my room key got demagnetized or whatever. Wow. Anyway. Hey. I don't mean to complain. I think traveling is awesome.
I got rid of the yellow. I didn't feel it too much. Sorry for that. We should move into the next phase soon, though. Like it's so much tweaking with those colors. I'm like, okay, I really like this part over here on the left, but then the orange overlap is not working for me. Like, look at that. Right now, it gets really abstract.
Fascinating. There's like so many different ways you could take this.
That's it, and that's
none being wrong.
It's like, okay, like I couldn't really prepare this stream. I
looks good. Like you keep on making these changes, and I'm like, oh, that looks good.
That's it. It's just like a lot of trial and error, and it's just like the overall vibe should be there. It should be nailed. Like I like to have green in here, but right now this yellow works.
I like that. Love it.
Yeah, good.
I love it.
A little bit here as well, but it shouldn't get too much into that.
So Kooky, you can do all the same stuff in Illustrator if you want. Like, so yeah, you do you.
If you want.
But for the most part.
But right now, I'm going to show you where it's all about. Okay, so I got all my layers set. I'm not 100% satisfied yet. Like, or do you want me to just be totally satisfied and get over the other details tomorrow? But
well, I feel like sometimes do you get a point with your artwork where you're tweaking it. You spend 80% of the time only making it 10% better or whatever. Like you could sit here and tweak these colors for another 45 minutes. And I would be okay with like again, I like the yellow. I gotta stop.
Yeah, you gotta stop.
But do whatever you want. Like this is good.
No, but I mean, like I want to show as well. But just because we have another stream tomorrow, so I don't know, like what would be ideal, like you streaming wise, if we have two streams, like covering the same kind of stuff, or should we separate it?
Yeah. Well.
Ooh, I love this.
Yeah, I don't know what the other thing is. I want people to tune in on both days.
Okay.
But if whatever you want to do, it's your time. And this is looking really good.
Yeah, I'm trying
are you going to play with, and you're kind of just going to leave the background simple, right?
Yeah, I think so, because like for the contrast and message is good. I just don't know if it will work. Like I got this rectangle over here controlling like it gets really intense. Like, I always like to play with those sand colors as a background as well. But I think like from a color perspective, it's always better pops when the rest is black and white. Maybe it's in here. Like there's something off for me, and I don't know what it is. So I'm just like pulling all those handles to see which one is bothering me most. I don't know if someone has advice in the chat though. It would be great.
Let us know. So Rik, you're concerned that something's off in here that you're unaware of? Like
I mean, like once you're focusing on the next step, like that's mostly like building details, and at the end you're like, oh shit, I'm not feeling it. It's like I always try to be like 100% satisfied, and of course like this is usually sometimes you're there within 2 minutes, and sometimes it takes you like 2 hours spread over 4 days, and sometimes it can take up to like 20 hours until you're satisfied with something. And I mean that's the fun part of it as well. Otherwise it would be super predictable, like okay, this process costs like this. So that's the reason why like the stuff I usually do is very freestyle, and I just like to keep it that way.
I wondered if it is that brown or tan color.
Yeah, same here. It's like people are waiting for my magic.
Should it be just, what if you just push it to gray and get rid of the color in there? Or even that looks good. I
can like...
That looks fun because it dissolves into the background. You can still read the text.
Word, and like what we actually could do over here, like, okay, here we go.
I'll do this color too.
That's it, but it makes the other colors pop more. Okay.
Yeah.
I just did your clipping mastering. I love it.
Oh, awesome.
Like that way you can maybe even blend it in with the background a bit. If you get out a soft brush and see like if that works. Yeah. I know, like it's just like
I like
ping ponging.
Yep.
And sorry, maybe I'm being too perfectionistic as always. So
no, well, you're doing exactly what every artist deals with and struggles with, is like these little tweaks and getting it to look right. So you continue to do what you're doing. I think something else interesting to think about is like your final output, because I know Steve mentions the gray in the background is a little too light. It also just depends on how you're looking at this.
Yeah, sure thing. Like that's just a matter of taste, and that's with all this. Like if I bring it darker, then I have to adjust like all the different like layers again, because somehow like balance it out on the background.
That's almost not as good when you had it really dark, that background. That I don't know, like
I don't feel it.
I don't feel it either. I feel like it's too big, it's too in your face. I like the subtle.
But that's just like personal. Like some people would make this red and would love it, and I'm like, oh no, stop it. Or a black, for instance, like, oh man, it's a process. It's a process.
Yeah. So Dimitri, I think this question has been coming up a lot in terms of like Photoshop versus Illustrator.
Yeah. Okay. I'll move into the Photoshop magic for now. Okay. The reason why I use Photoshop, and I know like. You can probably do this with like a gradient net. Oh yeah, go for it. What do you want?
I was going to say though, by the way, like if you are, I would first say, you could do all this stuff in Illustrator. It's tough once you have something in Illustrator with all the layers to bring it into Photoshop and have all those layers. Like, cause ultimately I think what you're going to be trying is some different effects on these, or I don't know what.
Yeah. Like that's what I'm going for. So we have our colored layer here. And we have two ways. Like I use the clipping master. I use my old. Why is this properties thing coming back? Lost that group. Okay, so I got my brush over here, which is set to a neutral gray right now, and I need to move it on top of my clipping mask stuff. So we're focusing on this layer, like the yellow, purple to bluish layer. What I want to try is to bring this more to life. So what I do, I got my layer over here. It's layer 15. Like, wait a second. I delete all empty layers just for cleaning purpose. I love that, like cleaning all empty layers. Okay, so here's my new layer. What I do, like I pick out a soft brush over here. My favorite one is usually the soft round pressure opacity, which is like a legacy OG Photoshop brush. It's been there since day one, I guess, or at least since day one I work. So what I do, like I put this layer style on multiply, and remember we're just like focusing on these for now. I always like to figure out like what will be the best way to tackle this depth, like create some fake sort of depth, like. So where would our light source be? What will be the top layer? I think like ideally like what I want. Is there a sun shape in here or something like that? Or well, there's an arrow. Okay. So light is coming from here. Boom. Just so you know, like if you're brushing in like all those shadow layers randomly, it would be a mess. So how would that react on this color shape? It's just by brushing all that stuff in. Where you get some sort of like, see, it's tricky. That's the hard thing with the hard edges. Let's see, now this there's under it.
I like it.
And sometimes you have to like clean it up a little bit by this eraser tool. I don't know why I'm using that over masks, but it's just like where I'm used to a lot. So that way, with just a simple gray, like I think it's the same one I use. Oh, no, it's quite a bright gray.
And that. Yeah, since you're painting on the same layer, you can always darken it and lighten it, and
that's it.
The opacity and.
Look at that! Like you see the difference right now, like how much life got brought into this shape. And that's just the shadows. Like you can add another one of those layers. Which one I also like is the color burn, but it reacts different on every color. This one gets really red that way. But for instance, like if you use it on a yellow one, it reacts totally differently. You see that? Like it's, I don't know, it works, but it's not as much as the other one. That way you're just like tweaking your layers and moving on to give them a little bit sense of depth. And I'm wondering if you can do this like very easily in Illustrator. I'll go back to my first layer, by the way, the multiply one. Create some sort of depth, like, oh my God, look at that. Some depth.
Oh, yeah, that is kind of cool. Have you ever, Vlad's asking if you've ever considered warping gradients.
Warping? Oh, yeah. I do that a lot, but that's mainly for highlights.
Okay.
Like my one of my old tricks I learned actually from Computer Arts magazine. Like back in the days, the only tutorials that were there were like in Computer Arts magazine and some sort of stuff. So what? Like I'll do this usually as a highlight, so I'll do that later on as well. But it's just like because he's asking it. So I got my orange pot over here. What I'm gonna do is like you can do this two ways. Like I'll do it the easiest way, by the way. Let me duplicate this layer, size it down, crank up the lightness a bit, make it a little bit smaller so it doesn't get like a very dominant highlight. Oh. Boom. Okay, I merge these together. So right now, merge these. I always like make a copy out of that, hide it, just to make sure I can move back to it. So if you want to warp this one is always fun. Like I use this so many times.
Oh wait, what did you? I just missed it. You just did a warp. I looked down.
Oh, sorry.
At That was awesome. Do it again.
No,
do it
no,
again.
I'll do it again.
Okay, I got this part. Now
I got my layer over here. So right now, like I warp it in a, like, let's say a
warp.
So it
and then grab the middle and then pull it to the edge. Oh,
yeah.
Nice. That's awesome.
And then let's focus on this bottom layer. This is a blue one. I copy paste it. Let's go to the blue one. And for instance, okay, so we want a blue tone. So we get back to our, or is it purplish? Blue, purplish. We get back to our hue saturation one. And it looks like a actual kind of highlight.
That's cool.
And you can use this as many times as you want, like all over. It gets a little bit hectic once you put it over every shape, but it gives some sort of sense of depth.
For sure. That's the best use of the warp tool that I've ever seen.
Oh, for real?
Literally click, drag, you have a highlight. It's really cool.
It's super easy. And it was like, I think the one in let me show you this. The way I started out with it was like, it was with a lens flare. And that wasn't actually with the warp tool. It was filter. Where's the lens flare? Is it still in there? I haven't used it for ages.
Yeah, it's in, it is under render.
Render, lens flare. Go for smart. Okay, yeah, I've hidden the layer.
You typically have to like make a big black layer and, oh, there you go. Got it.
Yeah, I already did it. But so yeah, and that way, like you had those like, see, where is it? Distort. Twirl was it? And it creates like those random. I think Justin Maller did this actually.
Oh yeah, Justin. He works. I'm pretty sure he works for DeviantArt now.
Yeah, he does. I've known him like for.
You know, it's funny you say that because when you're talking about computer arts and all this and that, I was like, Justin Mahler came to mind.
Yeah, and he's like. I actually went to an NBA game with him like last year out at Adobe Max. Like,
nice.
We've been eating chicken
so
here
we've
as well.
Probably, Rik, did we meet at Max last year? Did you go to 2019 Max?
Yeah, I did.
Did we? I'm surprised if we didn't meet, but maybe we didn't meet, darn it.
I don't know. I was there with HP. That's always the fun, like the nice trip we have as ambassadors. We get together and just like go to Max and guys are right now. Maybe doing too much, but I like that. Yeah, and that's a shame that it doesn't happen like this year. Meet up with fellow creatives, collaborate, chat, small talk, drink beers, but also with Justin. Yeah, and it's fun. Like it's always
Justin's crazy.
It's crazy that we're talking about him right now.
He's he's crazy, like in the best way. But he is hilarious.
I still remember, like Off Festival, like Off Barcelona. Yeah, and he was there, and we were with this crew called Depthcore, which is like very OG. It was like quite a limited art group in the sense that you had to apply, and people said yes or no. And it was Justin's like initiative to start. And I was part of that as well. And then he got me to speak at Off, like on behalf of Depthcore. And I was so freaking nervous. It was crazy. But
I remember him talking about that.
I was like,
you're cool. You're one of the cool kids.
Yeah. It was really like that. Everybody wanted to be like a part of it. I remain like, I'm not going to touch this top layer yet because I'm not satisfied with the color, but I'll remain like brushing in like a little bit of details over here. Focusing on shadow mainly. But Adobe Max is cool, like honestly. And I love LA.
Yeah, it is it's a great excuse to go to LA and hang out.
Nice weather.
Yeah, it's like all the best things. It's like vacation. You learn, you get inspired. You know, it's stupid words we say, but it's true. You learn and you do get inspired. And it doesn't matter if you're a speaker there, you're gonna get inspired. Like I'm getting inspired with this because I think this is looking awesome.
Thanks, man. Yeah, so right now we got some shadows sorted out. I wonder, like, what would happen if we put like gray paths. This is a hard word for me to pronounce.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. So we got a point over. Oh shit! Sorry, I didn't put it on shit. Boom.
Robzilla in the house. Hey Rob, good to see you. And Dana Pride, awesome. Good seeing some friends in chat. It's fun going to Max or a conference where you actually get to see the people you interact with online.
Is it going to happen next year, you think? It's like, okay, this is a different conversation, but in all honesty, I have no idea. And I don't think those decisions have been made at all. But what we will do is we'll kind of weigh the pros and cons, because like online Max was hugely successful. Yeah. So if you're comparing numbers, it was like having 50 Maxes at once when we did it online. That's correct.
So there's a huge, incentive to do, Max online, but at the same time, nothing can substitute, being in person for whether it's listening to music. Like, I don't care if it's a concert, whatever, like nothing compares to being there live.
No, and that's it. And also with the Max Bash is always fun.
Yeah.
I like it. And
for sure.
Meet random people. Like, you wouldn't meet those people online. I mean, yeah, maybe in a chat group or whatever, but it's a different relationship you start once you're face to face.
Yeah. I like meeting people. Like, you'll sit next to somebody like at lunch or whatever and find out that like what they do, and you like recognize their work, and you're like, just a fanboy. So that's a good point, Jan Eric. Who knows if the world's back to normal next year? We'd have to open up a registration in the springtime, and it's like, will we have enough information on where the world's at in the spring?
Probably not.
Who knows?
Probably not. I don't know how the numbers over here aren't too good either. Like, we're in the same situation. Like, this is a different conversation.
Yeah, but that's fine.
We're only we can have like 3 people around, like in one place for Christmas, which is weird. Like, usually you're there with your entire family and just like, I don't know. It's such a special period. I don't care so much about like the Christmas situation, but I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. But on the other hand, like, new opportunities open. Like,
you find out how really you, I don't know. Like, imagine if you have a big family, but there's only a limited, like, only 3 people can go.
Dude,
you figure out how popular you are with your own family.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Paul, you weren't invited to Christmas this year. You didn't make the cut.
Oh man, but that's it. Like, also with New Year's Eve, it's the same. Like, okay, you can only choose up to like 3 people to celebrate it with, and you're like,
is that's what it's like in?
Yeah.
Rick, where do you live? You're in where?
In
Denmark, where?
No,
Copenhagen.
No, why are you guys in the US always messing up Denmark and the Netherlands? It's weird.
Oh, are you in the Netherlands? Are you in Holland?
I'm in Holland. Yeah, I'm in Holland, and I'm living in Hilversum, which is a small town 20 minutes from Amsterdam.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. It's nice. Like, I'm born and raised here. Was like quite like that kind of kid that wanted like the American dream, but apparently like I rather stick to I mean, it's nice to be here. Like, I know every street. My grandmother is like 95 and still living here. I met my girlfriend over here. I got many friends over here. So why, like, and plus, like, everything is taking place online in general, professional wise.
Yeah.
For me at least.
Yeah, I think it's a big boon for us as creatives and people that, like, honestly, like, I know not everybody's working, but like this Adobe Live is your path to like success, because it's free. We get to hear from people like working professionals like you. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, honestly, like I get it. I work for Adobe, but like you get Creative Cloud. Like you remember back in the day, what did you do? You probably pirated it. Let's be honest. I don't know if you did, Rik.
Oh, dude.
I'm not singling you out, but like.
Oh man,
yeah.
Are there many Adobe people listening right now? Hopefully not, right?
You're fine. We're not gonna hunt you down.
But that was like I think it wasn't really affordable back then. Like it was like, what was it, 1,200 euros for me at least for like a version of Adobe Photoshop, because the Creative Cloud really was like a good move in my opinion.
Yeah, because you could try out this whole new career for like a month, provided you have a laptop.
Exactly
you'd be like,
that.
Hey, I'm going to try my hand at X.
Exactly.
I'm just amazed. Like $50 US a month. I don't know where it's at now. Like we always run like little promos, but it's a low barrier to entry in general, I feel.
Yeah, that's good. And I think
you don't need a degree, like you said. Like you don't have a degree, and that's never hindered you in any case. So.
No, and I always find it hard. Like I got like some messages on Instagram every now and then from like people that are like, "Oh, Rik, what did you study? I want to study the same." And I'm like, I didn't study. Go chase your dreams, do whatever you like. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's always hard to give like some sort of advice to those like people who are super young and ambitious and sending you messages like that, and like, yeah, I don't know, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah. And just to clear the air, I'm not recommending bootlegging, but I also think that they're from a marketing standpoint, if you're a company, one way to get your software out there is to give it away for free.
Word.
You know, I don't know if I think the first Photoshop was it Illustrator? One of our first, I know PostScript was sent for free with printers, I think.
Oh, wow.
I'll have to double check my Adobe history, but there was a time where like, yes, we did give away a piece of software for free because it drove sales in another area. I think long-term, you give stuff away people do it all the time. You do it with, like Twitter, it's like platforms will be free until you build advertising. You get it through advertising, or you pay money or whatever. It's business. I don't know.
That's how do you feel about Instagram nowadays? Because I opened it like couple weeks ago and it felt like an online marketplace.
Yeah, I can get very marketing-y, and now you as a creator can sell your stuff at the marketplace on
it's
Instagram.
Cool.
I'm amazed at how people give away their content for free. They will literally spend most of their time giving all of their free artwork and stuff to like a platform. Like I'm all for using them, by the way. I just think you should like exploit all of them if you can, like post everywhere and get your stuff out there, but don't equate likes to your personal happy. Don't get caught up in the like game or the they're following you game, because that's a sad road, folks.
But that's like a lot of clients hire me though because I have a certain amount of followers on Instagram, for instance. Like they take you more serious once the numbers are up. Like,
exactly.
They take you more serious.
Yeah, I mean it's a long road to be an Instagram influencer, and if that you should be creating anyways. Like I'm constantly learning Photoshop. Hopefully people here are like even learning from you what you're creating. Yeah, create something like this and like post it out there. And yeah, maybe you could be an influencer someday or whatever. But yeah, it's a marketing tool, right? For designers, basically.
Yeah. No, for sure. And like Instagram was just about the pictures. Well, before that was video, and it was like I call that like actual timeline. Like you saw which was posted like a couple minutes ago and a couple minutes before that. How do you call that? Like the algorithm.
Oh yeah, the algorithm changed. Yeah.
Crazy.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Like it used to be based on times, like when which was posted.
Yes.
Right now.
And that annoys me that they changed it. Everybody's changed it. Like Twitter has changed it. Facebook has changed it, Yeah. And I don't like it because that means I don't see things from people.
Word.
And it just focuses on the people that I read the stuff for. So it limits your exposure to other things. And when you're limiting your exposure, I think you're limiting like your creativity.
Yeah.
And new ideas. Like,
For
I don't
sure.
want to see the same stuff that I continually like. Show me new things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it used to be more like that. Right now, it's just like, oh, it's quite repetitive and focused on sales. But yeah, that's the way it goes. In the meantime, I'm just working on like the highlights and shadows, as you can see, of this like top layer over here. But
Yeah.
because I did not like the overlay on multiply on purpose in a gray color, so I can like it responds to every color still, you know.
Yes.
If you do it on a color layer, like I can still change this color without like affecting the entire look of it. Of course, it looks different.
Because the gray painted layer is set to overlay or
to multiply.
Oh, sorry, multiply.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I like it. I'm not crazy about the arrow in the upper left. Like, I don't know if that's a good design choice.
that's where our light comes from.
I'm just messing with you.
I'll make it yellow for you. Let me make it yellow. There you go. You got your yellow piece of yellow there. So once we got this sorted out, we can actually work on some highlights. And what I do with that.
And you, by the way, I've noticed you've never increased your layers panel. The size of it.
I don't know. I already did twice, but this thing is keep going back.
I think it comes up when you so next time it comes up, we could move it on top of the color panel, but it will come up when you select an adjustment layer. Yeah. It'll sometimes throw the properties over there.
Okay. Yeah, because I already got rid of it twice, and I'm like, okay, you just mentioned it, and I'm like, oh, why is this back again? So what I do right now, I create a color layer for this though. It's kind of yellowish oranges to create like some sort of highlights over here. So what we do, like we have the orange layer, put it on screen mode. I always like screen because like I like color dodge too, but it can get a bit too intense, you know. And for lighten it feels too flat. Linear dodge could be cool, but I'm more a screen kind of guy.
And just a quick time check. We have you for like basically about 12 more minutes of work.
Oh, wow.
So you know, or not so work, of just playing around and hanging out with you and watching you create.
I should like, I don't know, like what do you want to see? Like, because we have another day tomorrow as well. So I wonder, like, do people ever create alongside, like they have this open on the screen and they try to replicate it or whatever?
I think
they
some
follow
people
along.
Yeah, I feel like I've gotten some messages or in chat have been like they've been trying it out. Cool. So they're not necessarily following along exactly, but I think some people may be trying some of these things.
That's also the reason why I went like for this approach for this stream, because like you can make it as personal as you like with your own words or your own name or your grandmother's name or your dog's name or whatever, or your favorite lyrics from your favorite musician. It's like pretty first you know, well, the layer is still not there. Like, I don't know how it popped up like, all the time, the properties panel. Let's see if we can add somewhere here.
It's looking really awesome.
Yeah, I would have made other decisions, I guess, here and there, but it's not bad. Mm-hmm. It's colorful. That's
I'm kind of interested in, you know, of course, like make sure you're saving this file and all that fun stuff. But yeah, I'm interested in where you end up, because some people end up working, some of our guests end up working on this after the stream because there's less pressure.
Yeah.
Like I think once you open it up tomorrow, if we're going to see something different or maybe it'll look the same, I don't know.
It's always good. Like what I always like is to go a step back. And that's also the reason why I always duplicate, like at some point in my process, I duplicate the image. And we actually did like for the color check purpose to see where you were. So if we flatten this out and see how it was, and that's also sometimes good, like to reflect upon things like, okay, maybe I like the green in that corner a bit more, or wow, I did an amazing job doing this like within an hour or whatever. Like I always find it a good moment to reflect like upon the steps you did.
looks so good. Like seriously, the work that you put in with the shadows and the highlights.
Yeah, but that's how important it is, and it's super easy, and it's just by this soft brush kind of thing.
And that's also why you spent some time working on the composition, because you're like, I need to get these shapes right, because I don't want to have to go back and have to redo the shadows and the highlights.
That's it. And that's also the reason, because like I can like get the shape, like I can recolor it, and that's also the main reason why I use like a light gray color overlay. Like I can still mess around with it, and probably if I end up like finishing this one, I will change some colors here and there. But it's always like an ongoing conversation with yourself. And in fact, what you said, that like sometimes taking a step back and look at it like in a different way, like 2 hours from now, might totally change your mind or come up with a solution. Like there's no pressure creating work for yourself, you know, and that's like how it should be. Just having fun.
Yeah. And the results are immediate. It's like what we're getting here. You're knocking out a lot in our brief time.
Yeah, actually, like, what should I cover tomorrow in this case? Like, I'm already covering a lot within this time frame.
Yeah, no, I would say let's just ask that to chat. You know, looking at Rik's portfolio or like at his work or whatever. What would you guys like to see out there? Somebody's asking about, you know, C4D and all that stuff. Like,
oh no,
if why did you pick C4D over Blender or Maya? I don't know if you have familiarity with any of the other 3D software programs.
Yeah, for sure. The first one I ever played with was Bryce 3D, which was super old school.
Oh, Bryce.
Dude, that was like,
wow.
That sometimes
in a while.
Yeah, that was like the OG stuff. And then I picked up Cinema for like 2 days and threw it away again. And then I picked up 3ds Max. Then I tried Maya. And then at some point I was with a friend in New York City, and he was working, he had a company over there and he was working in cinema. And I was just sitting next to him doing Photoshop, and I was like, oh dude, let me try this stuff out. So I literally, like, from that moment on, I spent like hours and days trying to learn it, because I feel like the learning curve in cinema isn't too steep. I know it's quite expensive compared to Blender, which I heard good stories about, by the way, about Blender, but I'm not like, once I got used to the software, I'm not like, okay, I'm gonna test out a different kind of software that does the same stuff, you know?
Yeah, what would the point be? Yeah, just so everybody knows, C4D Lite comes as part of After Effects. So there's a light version of Cinema 4D. And then we also have Adobe Dimension, which again is an easy way to get into 3D. It doesn't do the modeling necessarily, but it'll do the compositing. Like you could do something like with this text, for instance, you could actually take this, you could extrude it in Photoshop, export out your OBJ file, open it up in Dimension, and start applying all these fun textures and swirlinesses and things like that. Just so everybody knows. So yeah, a third way of doing all this stuff. By the way, what you're doing now with all the shading in it it's clearly, this is clearly why you're using Photoshop for all your vector.
Yeah, for sure. Like what you mentioned, like I can expect more stuff from more stuff from Illustrator, like the forms and shapes and stuff like that. No, it would have been an option too, but I think like the pen tool in Photoshop is almost as versatile as the one in Illustrator. And it's good to have a bit of knowledge about both softwares, because like I never used those vector shapes. I always used paths before I got to know Illustrator, but because I knew Illustrator, I know how easy it is to work with vectors, you know? So it's kind of like you take one bit from this software and one bit from that and throw it together. And Photoshop is obviously the best software to throw everything in together, you know?
Yeah, totally. I'm into it. I love this. I'm loving all the highlights. Let us know if you have more questions. I'm looking at chat. 5 minutes left. Time check from that. Where did that voice come from?
I don't know, man.
We have DJ Paco on the ones and twos. Actually he's running tech as well. He is the one that's really making us look good. So thank you, Paco, for all your hard work that you do.
What is behind you on your green screen, Paul? Can you see that? Because I just see the green screen.
It's just a swooshy thing that.
Just curious.
I think actually my boss's boss made a swooshy thing. And I just wanted something that kind of matched your colorful background.
Okay. Thank you. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
Oh, we could talk about all sorts of things. I love the idea of, are you able to open this image in After Effects or animate and really bring it to life? Yeah, there's like a number of ways we can go with this. Yeah. I love the idea of just taking this word color and doing it in Adobe Dimension. And
I don't have, I never touched Dimension, so I'm not sure if the result will be good.
I think tomorrow I might show it to you and everyone else, just so you know, just so you can kind of but I think it's a good, even if you jump into C4D later on, you're going to understand the fundamentals from Dimension. Yeah, and I actually use a lot of stuff from my 2D workflow in Cinema, as you can see, but with the light, the shadows and stuff, I learn a lot from shadow and highlights from the 3D software. Mm-hmm. But I also learn a lot from the pen tool and the organicness I use in Photoshop and apply that to my 3D work. And going back and forth in between softwares makes you very versatile. But yeah, I like to take bits from each sort of software. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. So, and again, when you take bits and pieces, it allows you to make that jump from one software to another potentially. Yeah, and it's always good to learn, if you're, I don't know, otherwise it's boring. I've been doing a lot of After Effects this week and I'm actually enjoying it. Although I don't really necessarily like to animate or whatever, but once you get forced into a new program, you always it's always you feel like it's been a useful day once you've learned something new. That's for sure how I am. I'm always eager to learn new stuff, and you go to bed very satisfied once you've learned something. Yeah, it just builds your confidence and exactly that. Good. Exactly that. For this would also be fun because there's the timeline panel here in Photoshop. Mm-hmm. And you could take the hue and saturation and just animate the hue and saturation over the course of time, just like you could do in After Effects. Exactly. But that would be a fun. You know what? And even looking at this piece, a lot of your work has a lot of color and a lot of motion to it. So I could see, you getting into After Effects for sure. Yeah. It's just it's a different process though. I don't know if you like it, but it's always it's even more trial and error than working on stills. Plus the workflow is a bit heavier for your graphical stuff. But you can handle it with that HP ZBook. Oh yeah, for sure. No, this is cool. It's super thin and it's super fast, and it has an NVIDIA graphic card on it, which I'm super happy with. So I can do all my 3D workflow I can do on this main machine on a laptop, which is cool. With a piece of artwork like this, do you feel like you could just spend days on it? No, adding? No. Oh no, you can't. Oh, okay. I'll jump on the next one within no time. Good. There is a stopping point or something. Yeah, exactly. Okay, this is good because you could add a highlight here and then a bounce light over here. Yeah, exactly that. But it's just it needs to be fun, and I'm not that kind of guy that spends a week on one project. There's millions is a lot, thousands of files laying on my hard drive, which I spent 2 hours on and just not feeling. But sometimes you get back to those files though, and that's always funny. I opened a file I did 4 years ago last night. And why? Because I found it I was just browsing for random stuff. And I found it and I'm oh dude, I'm actually feeling this. So I'm gonna jump back into that once I got some free time and see how it works and how to make something nice out of it. That sounds awesome. Hey, Rik, we're down to our last minute, buddy.
Boom.
Show this like full screen in all its glory. I love what you got going on here, baby. This looks awesome. And everybody says like, yeah, it looks like, Rob's like, yeah, it looks like candy. It looks
yeah, we're not there yet.
It's looking great. I'm glad we have you tomorrow, buddy. Did you have fun?
I had fun. I had total fun. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
I'm glad we didn't scare you away, and I'm glad we have you tomorrow as well. I'm so excited. Part 2 coming tomorrow.
Yeah, great.
That's all I got, Rik.
Okay,
you are the man. Everybody stick around.
Have a good one.
Yeah, I'm so excited nice working for tomorrow. Yay.
It's evening over here, so I'm going to crack open a beer probably.
Okay, I love it. Well, cheers, buddy. Cheers, everybody. Cheers. Stick around. We have Julia and Full Day lined up. Illustrator Daily Creative Challenge next. So thanks so much, everybody. We'll see you soon.